Cancel.
Squeezy.
I was also watching recently The Girl from Plainville on Hulu. I did mention that forever ago. I was going to watch and talk about it, but I didn't. Well, I guess, no, I just recently watched it, but I haven't talked about it yet. So now I guess we're talking about it. So let's just read the Wikipedia article of the entire thing. There we go. That's the other bit. The Girl from Plainville is an American drama miniseries created by Liz Hannah and Patrick McManus. The series stars Elle Fanning, Chloe Sevigny, and Colton Ryan. Premiered on Hulu on March 29, 2022. A portion of the series showed at South by Southwest on March 12, 2022. The series is a dramatization of the events leading to the death of Conrad Roy and his girlfriend Michelle Carter, conviction for involuntary manslaughter. So, to also kind of lead off that a little bit, basically, this kind of like tells a story. I'm like, I know most of this is fake, but I'm gonna like talk about the series as if it's real. So calm your fucking tits.
Feel like a woman, a real woman.
Like Michelle Carter did. So basically what happened was Conrad Roy was very suicidal. He was a very suicidal kind of, should I say kid? He was like 18-ish, 18, 19 at the time. But I don't know. He still seemed like a kid to me, but he was very suicidal. He's attempted suicide more than once. And then this girl, I don't even know if they even confirmed that they're a boyfriend and girlfriend. Basically, she wanted to like help him commit suicide so he can be at peace and stuff like that. Because I guess she was in the mindset of it was like Romeo and Juliet, how like they're star-crossed lovers, and you know him killing himself, and then you know she kills herself, maybe too, but she she never had a plan. Very, very weird shit. Anyways, though, one thing for sure that did happen in this show was that he did kill himself in a truck with a generator in the back producing carbon monoxide. So he would die. That was the suicide, stuff like that. A big thing in regards to this thing is that they retrieved text messages between him and Michelle Carter, and when he was about to not go through with it, Michelle told him to get back in the truck over text message, and he did eventually get back in the truck and ended up offing himself. As one would say, I'm going to try to use words that every algorithm will be cool with. So like that. But anyways, he did that. He killed himself with carbon monoxide poisoning in the Kmart parking lot. So, and this happened 2014, so this happened a while ago, which is weird. Because I was in college in 2014, and it doesn't seem that long ago to me when this all happened. So, and I can't imagine Kmart was ever going to come back from that. Just like Kmart was already dying pretty well. Like they were closing store after store. I think there was one near where I went to college. I think my friend worked at. This had to be the nail in the coffin for Kmart. You're like, this guy killed himself. It's like, okay. Close down that store. Like, Kmart's we can't have Kmart's anymore. That's just a fact. And so, I mean, that wasn't that much of the show, but I was just like, that could not have helped Kmart at all.
That's rough, buddy.
Another thing with the show is, like, so a lot of, like, Michelle Carter and Conrad Roy's relationship was over text messages. That was the majority of it. And I don't even think they, like, were met in person very much in regards to a relationship. However, this show kind of like made, like, when they were texting each other, they put them both in like the same space as like when they were talking with each other to make it more real. And you know, I get when you're like younger, you know, text messages kind of mean a little more like you're talking to someone, but you also don't really understand someone's like how, you don't understand someone's tone. You don't understand that. I think emojis help a little bit with that, but at the same time, I text my friends just memes and shit, and they kind of always get my tone and shit like that. But like, you're on the internet and I'll comment on some bullshit and someone will get super offended. I'm like, I guess they didn't get the tone of what I was trying to say there. Sorry, bro. And stuff like that. So it was very weird that when they were texting each other, they made it like an in-person interaction. It just seemed really weird to me. And I just feel like when they made it like an in-person kind of thing, the tone of how they actually communicated over text was lost. That's a me thing. I know a lot of things had to be dramatized from TV, so like I understand that's what they had to do to get things to work like that. But I don't know. I just think communicating, there's a difference when you communicate through text versus when you communicate in person, and making their text interactions in person. It's a little weird to me. That's just me. I also think Coco, or Conrad, they call him Coco, which is just very weird. Like his dad, his parents were divorced, and somehow he's got custody of his children. They did show that, and like, you know, a big thing in the trial was that Conrad and his dad, also Conrad, Coco and Con, I think that's what their name was. They did have like some sort of altercation where they did punch each other and shit like that. Cops had to be called and stuff like that. Like, I can't imagine, you know. Here's my thing. You know, I know some parents are like, "Oh, I spank my children; they'll turn out fine." And some of you are those people. And let's take a listen. Like, some of you were spanked, and you're like, "I turned out fine." No, you're not. You're listening to me on a podcast right now. You did not turn out fine. You're listening to me talk about fucking TV shows I watched. I'm getting paid to talk about this. You're just fucking sitting there listening to me talk about what I watched on TV over the previous week. Don't say that you turned out fine, because this is the life that you're living right now. Anyways, though, yeah, so I don't think hitting your children is a good idea. And, you know, to be honest with you, what's the end goal of that happening? Like, you're hitting your children. One day they're going to get bigger than you, and they're not going to put up with that shit anymore, because the reason why you can get away with it is because they're smaller than you. Once they're the same size as you, and they're still younger than you, they will whoop your ass. Like, that's the thing, though. So, I mean, I'm not saying you should hit your kids, but kids who are getting hit, once you're big enough, just defend yourself. You know, fight back. And, you know, and I think that's kind of, and they say, it's like Coco did, or, you know, the Conrad that we're talking about, he did punch first, but I can't imagine that was the first time. You know, I can't imagine those Boston fucking guys, those Boston area guys, like, they'll fucking fight anything for no reason. And then there's the question. Here's a good question. Here's a question for everyone checking this out today, if you're watching the highlights or whatever. Did Michelle Carter commit like a homicide, or did she commit assisted suicide? Now, I'm going to say neither of them are cool not to do that. But, like, she went to jail. Like, eventually, the spoiler alert. She went to jail for, like a homicide. For killing Conor Roy, for convincing him to kill himself. They marked it as a homicide. I don't agree with that. And I'm not saying I agree with what she did. I'm not saying she did was right. I thought she was not mentally healthy. I don't think she should have been even gone to jail. I think there's been like, yeah, she needs to be in a psych ward, to be honest with you. That's kind of like my thoughts. You know, they even had like a mental health expert in the show. Was on trial, and we're like, Michelle wasn't good, he wasn't good either. It was kind of bad that they both had communication with each other, because nothing was going to end good between them. I'm just saying right now, like, I don't think she should have gone to jail. She should have been put in like a mental institution. That's me. That's one part of it. Also, I think this should be considered assisted suicide. I do not consider this a homicide, because they say that her influence in texting him saying get back in the truck was enough for him to do it. Like, now, I know, I'm saying that is wrong, but if we're going to go with technical definitions, that is assisted suicide. She assisted suicide. It's not like she put a gun to his head and she was like, either you get back in the truck or I'm going to shoot you myself. If there was a case like that and she was there and stuff like that, I would 100% agree it was a homicide, even though it would still technically be an assisted suicide. But this situation, 100% assisted suicide. Assisted suicide, at least when this trial was going on, I have no clue now, is not illegal. I just agree it was an assisted suicide. No, I don't agree with what happened. I just think definition-wise, it's an assisted suicide. Love to hear everyone's else thoughts on that. Please leave a comment, or let me know, DM me. Let me know. I'm just interested in your thoughts on that, because just with this case, I'm like, this is 100% assisted suicide. It's not good. She has bad mental health. We shouldn't be assuming that this is a girl with a lot of mental health issues that thought she was doing the best thing for someone who was just, you know, two people who are not in their right mind doing that. And it was just bad, you know?
That's rough, buddy.
But yeah, that's all I really have to say on the actual show. And like big thoughts. And now it's time for little thoughts, just nitpicks I have that have no relevance to the show at all. So Michelle had a Jonas Brothers poster in the room, and you know, I guess she was probably a fan when she was a kid, but she was like a teenager, 17, 18, 19, you know, when the show was supposed to take place. 2012, 2014, 15, 16, 17, I think was the time frame. The Jonas Brothers broke up. They released a song called Pom Poms, and I liked that song, but then they went back on hiatus, so I don't know, the likeliness of Michelle having a Jonas Brothers poster in the room just seems weird just from the time frame, assuming feels like she would grow out of them. Just seems a weird thing. Conrad was playing a video game on a laptop, which isn't the bad part. It was a first-person shooter game on his laptop, and he was using the trackpad. Now, anyone who knows he plays video games, mouse and keyboard, knows that you can't really play video games on a trackpad. You can, but it's not that good, and usually people buy an external mouse for that. Just seemed weird he was playing a first-person shooter with a trackpad on the laptop. Very weird. I didn't get it. It was just weird to me, but I noticed it, so you don't have to. The final one I noticed, so when they were in the trial for Michelle Carter, Elle Fanning played Michelle Carter. Elle Fanning's great. Very pretty girl. I think I had to mention that for something I was about to say. But so when they were doing like the trial scenes, Elle Fanning looked just like Michelle Carter. Like, you look side by side, perfect recreation. However, the weird thing is, when you're doing like all these flashbacks for the show, because they're kind of telling the story of what was going on throughout the entire show, Elle Fanning looked like Elle Fanning. She did not look like Michelle Carter at all. Which I kind of think was the filmmaker trick, making you think that, okay, this is the past, this is the present. I think 13 Reasons Why had a kind of had like, you know, like I think the kid had like a scar on his face or a cut on his face, let you know present versus past. But this, I don't know, like, I don't know if it really helped. You know, because a lot of times when you watch biopics and stuff like that, the actors who are playing the actual person are usually a little bit more attractive than like who they're playing, which is, you know, that's what actors are. They're getting surgery on their face to look good. No shame in that, but it was weird that it was Elle Fanning in the past, but she looked so much like Michelle Carter in like the trial scenes. It was so weird. I know it's a filmmaker trick probably, but I feel like it didn't. I was like, I don't know. It didn't really hit right with me for some reason. Anyways, though, I think that's all I have to say on that. Go check it out. It's on Hulu. Get your Hulu with no ads. Don't be stingy.
Feel like a woman, a real woman.
Like Michelle Carter did, but
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
there we go. That's what we need to sound like. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Shweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you. Honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.